What we need is local control.
Tom King.
Sometimes we expect great things.
Christian Arcand.
Things can't always work out the way we expect.
Christian and King. ESPN New Hampshire Radio. Streaming live on ESPNNewHampshire.com. Christian and King. Here's Christian Arcand and Tom King.
They played better game today than they did probably in Boston. I'm sure they're going to talk about that. But at the same time, again, I got to talk about our team, and our team just wasn't good enough at the start to give ourselves a chance here.
Subban, that's the puck for defenseman pinch. Why can you do that? Because you know you have support behind you, and what a heads-up play by Thomas Vanek.
When you look at the goals that were scored tonight, the biggest thing was a lack of awareness of where they were on the ice.
It's over. Subban's back on. Subban scores! First move. Subban comes out, turns his feet. Right there, he bites. Now it's an empty net. Puck comes to the other side. Lazzaro's with his shot. Blocked by Mike Weaver.
You don't want to be down every third period. I mean, you want to be going into the third period with the lead and can't be shooting ourselves in the foot right off the hop.
Well, good afternoon. Christian and King here, ESPN New Hampshire, streaming live on the ESPN Radio app and ESPNNewHampshire.com. It is Wednesday, May the 7th, 2014. I'm Christian Arcand. That's Tom King. Hi, Tom.
Good.
At least the Red Sox won yesterday in dramatic fashion. While the Bruins, just a little bit more of the same. Slow, uninspired play to start off the game. PK Subban doing whatever the hell he wants to out there with no repercussions whatsoever. And the Bruins now find themselves down 2-1 going into Game 4 at the Bell Center on Thursday. Tom, you said this was almost a guaranteed Bruins win last night.
No.
I believe you did.
No, I didn't guarantee it.
Well, you were very confident.
Well, I was confident. And here's how I think the series is going to go.
Okay.
If the Bruins will win Game 4.
They're not going to win Game 3. That's a fact.
They might if they use your theory, your abilities there to go back to the future. There you go. That's it. Marty will come and help you.
Right, Marty and Doc. I love how you're like referencing this movie and you've still never seen it.
Yeah.
It's great.
I saw the first one. I just never saw the others.
Okay.
Anyway.
Other stuff happens.
Yeah. Well,
the story gets. They go to the Old West.
I didn't buy into it.
Right.
So anyway, they'll win Game 4. They'll win Game 5.
Mm-hmm.
They'll lose Game 6. They'll win Game 7.
They'll win Game 4, lose Game 5, win Game 6.
No. Win Game 4, win Game 5, lose Game 6.
I see. Okay.
Win Game 7. They will win one out of the next two in Montreal. They will win both games back in Boston, and that'll be the series.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
And what makes you say that?
I just think that they're a resilient team. They come back. They bounce back. They'll bounce back in this game.
I don't know. I mean,
Montreal's going to have – the only way Montreal can win these games is if they jump out to early leads.
Which they've done every single time.
Are they going to do it a fourth time in a row? I don't think so. Law of averages say no.
Law of averages, I don't care what they say.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're listen.
No, you're down on it. This is typical. You're down on it. They lost a game.
They played badly yesterday, Tom.
Yeah, they did.
They played very poor.
But when have they played two games like that in a row?
When have they played 3 games in a row where they've been down 2-0 going into the third period?
There you go.
So here it is. This keeps on happening. I'd like for it to stop and the law of averages to kick in, but it's 3 games in a row now.
All right? Don't worry. Just
Serenity. What, Tom? You can't just say calm down. You got to give me a reason to. What have you seen from this team?
The reason is they're a very good hockey team. And
they're not playing very well.
Well, they have to stop one guy. I think they're going to find a way to stop one guy in the next couple games.
I feel like stopping PK Subban is something they should have been, if they were capable of doing it, should have happened by now. Yeah. At least for a few minutes. It hasn't had. It's not even close.
But they had a couple of
doing
lapses.
Whatever he wants out there.
A couple of momentary lapses that led to 2 goals.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
3 goals actually.
Well, I didn't see the first one.
All 3 of them were because of of lapses.
Okay.
The first one, I'll break them all down for you if you didn't.
The other 2 were breakaways. I saw the other 2.
Well, PK Subban was coming out of the penalty box.
That happens. That happens in hockey.
That does happen in hockey. In the playoffs, you got to be better than that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Carl Soderberg's right at mid-ice. He's at center ice.
Talking about a franchise that got too many men on the ice penalty in the last couple of minutes of a Game 7 years ago. So, this is it. Stuff happens in hockey.
Okay.
All right? And I think the Bruins will come out strong in Montreal in Game 4 I believe they'll win in Game 5. Then I think Montreal will pull it out in Game 6, and we'll go to a 7th game, and we'll see.
Kevin Miller had a bad game. He was responsible for the first goal as far as I'm concerned. He was positioned poorly. He let Plekanec right in on his right side. Krug and Miller were kind of an adventure all night when they were in their own zone. Was not feeling very confident about them. That was the defensive pairing that Montreal attacked the hardest and I think made look the worst. And in that very first goal, it was, Miller on one side, and he was on the puck side. Krug was over there, too, and they had a guy behind him. I forget who it was. I want to say Descharnais, but that might not be right. He's behind them, coming up on the left side on Tuukka's left. Meanwhile, Plekanec's over on the right side, totally uncovered, no one near him, because everybody's trying to glom in and block Subban's shooting alley, and I understand why you want to do that, but you have to position yourself better than that. You can't have two defensemen on one side of Tuukka with nobody guarding the blind side. That was really, really bad. Vanek got a nice drop pass from Subban, basically slap-shotted it to Plekanec, and he had a wide-open net. Nothing really Tuukka could do there. Bad positioning by the defenseman, and that's what happens. Now, as far as the power play goes, the Bruins had one power play. And it ended about as badly as any power play could have possibly ended.
Sure did.
I mean, that is just, we were all very concerned with how the refs were going to call this with Rooney and that guy, and all the penalties they call. They blew 2 whistles. Should have blown 3, but we'll get to that in a second. They blew 2 whistles, one on the Canadians, one on the Bruins, and that was it. I mean, they let them play out there, and that was certainly not what I was expecting. I'll say this.
Well, I think that was a response to the back and forth between the two coaches.
Sure. Very, very
possibly. The two coaches set that up. All right? They both set that up. And I don't know if they expected it to go that way, but they set that up with their comments.
Now, in the first
goal.
We
got another day of comments, another couple of days of comments.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're going to be sniping each other. There's not much to say.
It's not going to be the same refs, so we'll see what
True.
happens. Yeah.
In the second goal, of course, the power play ended. And the Canadians got control of the puck right as it ended. Subban dashed out of the penalty box. Carl Soderberg was at center ice, had no idea what was going on behind them, and all him and Bergeron could do basically was just chase Subban as he had a breakaway and completely just schooled Tuukka Rask.
Rask has not had a great series.
He hasn't.
He hasn't had a bad series. I mean, it's not like he's been pummeled with 5-6 goals a game here or anything like that. But he hasn't made what you'd say dramatic stops that can alter a game.
Right.
And that's part of the issue, I think, right now with the Bruins.
Yeah.
And he's got that distract. No one. This is pretty sudden story that his girlfriend gave birth to his child, and over
to a little
weekend,
Tuukka.
To a little Tuukka, and
tiny Tuukka.
Maybe that's part of it. I mean, that gives you a little bit of a reason.
I guess.
But
I think
now,
the big reason is that his defenseman just hung him out to dry 3 times.
Well, 3 breakaway goals.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, what do you want? I mean, the first one,
well,
he had no chance of stopping the first one.
I went nuts on Lundqvist because he couldn't stop a couple.
Right,
breakaways.
and you sounded like a jerk because, I mean, listen.
No, because I think you got to come up
penalty
with one of those.
shots, breakaways, one-timers, and, deflections in the front. Those are well, first of all, the empty net is the number one most likely scenario to score a goal. Breakaway is number 2. Penalty shot, I'd consider the same as a breakaway. One-timers, traffic in the middle, deke on a goalie, whatever it is. But, I mean, breakaways are right up there. They're top 3 in the most common times that goals are scored.
He had 3. The one-timer, no. I'll say he had 2 that he could, that he had a chance on. He needed to make the save in one of them.
Okay. That's fair.
That's what I think.
And the Dale Weiss one again.
It's the same way I thought about Lundqvist the other night.
Sure.
He needed to stop at least one of them.
And the Dale Weiss goal, of course, Johnny Boychuk on a blocked shot, which is sort of Montreal's whole thing. They let the Bruins control the puck in their zone and let them play keep away and let them do whatever. When they wound up for a shot, they'd jump in, and as soon as the puck went the other direction, they were gone, and they would just take off. And they'd have somebody cherry-picking back there or coming out of the penalty box or whatever it might be, and they waited and they picked their spots, and that's how they scored their goals. And by the time it was 3-0, I mean, what are you supposed to do?
Ole.
You're not going to be doing this all day, I hope.
No.
Good.
I will if they win the series.
Really?
Yeah, probably.
Carey Price played a fantastic game for the first 2.5 periods, I'd say.
He's played well.
In the first two periods of these games, Carey Price has been the best goaltender I've ever seen in my life. Just through the first 2 periods.
Yeah.
He's been absolutely outstanding. Third period, not so much. In the third period, he kind of turns into a different guy, starts letting goals in. I'll say this, that Bergeron goal, that redirection.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a classic goal.
Oh, my
He's a great
God.
player.
That was like telekinesis.
Look, this is what's going to
I've
happen.
never seen anything like
this
that
is what's going to
before.
happen. Bergeron's going to take over this series. The Canadians cannot stop that line. Something always happens. Whether or not Price is the last line of defense, and he's stopped it more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
But when that line is out there, they're all over the Canadians.
Yeah. And I'll say this, after
And
that first goal,
yeah.
it got really quiet in Montreal.
Oh, it did.
You weren't hearing any olays after Bergeron
Nah,
deflected
no.
that one in. And then when they made it 3-2, that was another thing, which brings us to that play in the waning seconds. I don't have the audio of it, but if you were watching the game, if you didn't, give up on them when it was 3-1 or 3-0, or for that matter, you'll have noticed that towards the end of the game, the Bruins dumped it in. PK Subban, who had played such a great game, had a goal and an assist, was on his heels, going back, trying to clear it out. And as he skated past Carey Price, he dislodged the net, which, if you do that on your own net, is a penalty, a delay of game. And if you cause a delay of game in the final 2 minutes or in overtime, since you can't, in the final 2 minutes, very well sit out a entire 2-minute minor, it's a penalty shot. No call from the refs. Nothing. Now, Eric Wilbur had a pretty in-depth analysis of this and even cited the rule that declares that if this happens, then, if this... Hello, Jim.
James?
What's going on?
I'm listening to your show.
Yeah?
And I got to ask you a question. I'll point this both to you.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, you and I were at the game. Christian, you were at the game the other day.
Saturday, yes.
Here's my question. It got brought up today on some other talk shows, but did the Bruins look like they were in fear of being called for so many penalties that they have been called for over the last few games, that they played with a little bit of fear in that game yesterday? Because they certainly looked like it in the first period.
That they were scared of, that they were...
No, I don't think
They
I
played
didn't-
like
I
a
didn't
team
feel
that
that
was
way,
in
no.
fear. To me, they played like a team that
I
was in
think so.
fear of, okay, if we make this another penalty call, we get another penalty called on us. Because
I
let's
think
face
they were
it.
purposely trying not to take that next step physically to get called for foolish penalties. But I didn't see any fear in the way they played.
Did you see the way that they played in the first period compared to the last 2 games? I
It
mean,
wasn't-
how'd you feel about it?
It was
I
a
thought
bad start. It was a bad start.
awful.
Yeah. But
And I
that
think-
happens.
Would you have pulled Tuukka Rask after the third goal?
No
No,
way.
no way.
Absolutely not.
No.
You don't think those 2 goals he had any chance of stopping them?
I think he had a chance on stopping him.
Well,
But
No,
I
they were
wouldn't have pulled-
breakaways. I mean, what do you...
But I would.
Guy's on a breakaway.
Breakaway.
You can't leave a guy out to
I-
dry more than
I-
the Bruins
I
defenseman
wouldn't have
left
pulled him.
Tuukka Rask out to dry. There's no
Wouldn't have pulled him.
question. You
No.
can't pull him for
You
that.
can't pull him for that.
For letting in... I mean, if he's letting in soft goals, fine. But those weren't soft goals.
No.
Those were breakaways.
No, I wouldn't have pulled him.
in both
No way.
games, he played with the goals that went in. Would you consider those Tuukka-esque kind of performances in the first 2
Oh,
games?
I don't think Tuukka Rask has played the way that he's capable of playing in this series.
Right.
I think the birth of his child probably has had a lot to do with that. I mean, that's a huge
Oh,
distraction.
come on.
That's a huge distraction. Something had to distract him. So you take that away. Now that's all done and over with. So now it's up to Tuukka to steal a game or 2 in this series.
He's going to have to.
I think he's probably
They're not
going
going to win this series unless Tuukka has,
No,
has
the
a
same-
big,
this-
big game.
The same way they weren't going to win the series in 2011 unless Tim Thomas did it.
But he's not going to have a big game like that if his defensemen keep,
Allowing
letting
that.
guys behind them.
Sure.
Last night's game should have been called Behind the B because that's where they were. They were behind them all game. No, literally. I mean, it was just getting behind. Dale Weiss gets behind Boychuk. Subban gets behind Soderberg out of the penalty box.
Third period was a little different.
Third period was different.
Mazzaro was awful, too. And now they're talking about this. What do you do now? Mazzaro's looked pretty bad. in the
Mazzaro
game.
said he had a goal, didn't
Hit
he?
a goal.
I know,
But
it
he
went
looked
off
bad.
Ginla, but yeah, I
Off
mean,
Ginla, but it was.
he got the assist.
Anyways, hey,
Eh.
I think there was a little fear last night. Hopefully they turn it around.
All right,
Enjoy your show. boys.
Jim Sensabella, ladies and gentlemen. I see what you're saying. I mean, it wasn't a great performance by Tuukka Rask. It also wasn't. It wasn't a great performance by Tuukka Rask. No
I
question
didn't
about
think it
it.
was that. I don't think it was great, but I mean, the final score was 4-2. One of them was an empty netter, and
Yeah.
2 of them were breakaway goals.
Right.
One of them was a one-timer that he had no chance on.
Yeah.
I mean, but my point and Jim's point is that Rask has got to play better, and as you said, he's got to steal a game.
Right.
All right. So when's that going to happen? It's got to happen next game. I think the Bruins come out strong on Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they have the physical ability to outlast Montreal over 3 periods. They really do. They just can't dig themselves a hole. And I don't think they dig themselves a hole. And I think they come out strong. I think they score a couple of early goals, and I think they move on and even this series, and it comes back to Boston for Game 5 on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Tied 2-2.
Here's Eric Wilbur's take on all of this here. Now, I have the the ruling right here. First of all, they show the clip. He has a Vine up here of the clip. The Vine is those short little 6-second GIFs where they just show it. PK Subban, no one touches him. It's not like he got pushed into the net. He clearly skated into it. Maybe it was by accident, but it was still
no
him
one pushed him
without anyone pushing him.
Yep.
According to Rule 10.1.
Yep.
Section E, delay of game. If in the last 2 minutes of regular playing time or any time in overtime a team is penalized for any of the following infractions, a penalty shot shall be awarded against the offending team. Deliberate illegal substitution, protective equipment, deliberately knocking the goal net from its position, refusing to start play. In overtime, a penalty shot shall be assessed under this rule, except in the case of blah, 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 refusing to start play, in which there will be a game misconduct. So under the parameters of the rule book, Boston should have had a penalty shot. Now, would that have meant
No, hold on a second.
Oh, yes.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
That said, deliberately.
Right.
The referee has to make that judgment.
Sure.
Whether it was deliberate or not.
Okay.
They obviously either didn't see him actually do it, or they saw him do it and felt that it wasn't deliberate.
If there's no one around him and he does it, then they are basically saying, we think PK Subban didn't mean to, even though he clearly did it, and there was no one around him to make him do it against his will.
That's the call. Now, I'm saying, did they notice him do it as he did it, or did they just notice the net off its
They noticed the net off.
Right, so they probably didn't see him do it.
Well,
all right.
I'm sorry. That doesn't satisfy me as far as this goes.
Yeah, but I mean, say that rule. You automatically say, "Oh, it's got a bad shot." No, it doesn't. It says deliberate.
Right.
Right. Did he do it deliberately? You think he did?
Well, I think if no one forced him into doing it, if no one pushed him into it, if it was an accident, I didn't mean to, I skated by, I didn't mean to. Well, sorry, you did it.
I stubbed my toe. Nobody pushes. I almost broke my toe the other night. No one pushed me into the door.
Okay, well, I don't remember that being a rule in a hockey game that we had to decide.
But it doesn't mean I did it deliberately.
Listen, the refs called 2 penalties all night. They weren't going to be.
Right.
This isn't something they were going to call. Maybe Subban knew that, and he felt the pressure on him, and he knocked the net off, and thought, well, at least I'll stop their momentum here, and it's 6-on-5. Was it with 10 seconds left in the game?
Do you think that with 10 seconds left, PK Subban is going to deliberately risk a penalty shot? I don't think so.
I don't know.
I'd have to see the play.
All right, look at it right here.
All right, I'd have to see him do it.
See?
All right, let's see him do it.
There it is. It's just on a constant cycle. See that?
No, I don't think he did it deliberately. I think he's trying. Let's see. He's moving.
So
to
you
the
think
back
he's
of the
that
net.
bad of a
There he
skater
goes,
that he
moving
can't
to the
avoid
back of the net. He's going for the puck. The puck's behind the net. He's trying to reach around the net to get it, and he knocks it off its more.
And he's that bad of a skater that he can't avoid a giant red net that's right in front of him.
Well, it didn't look like he just crashed into it purposely and knocked it off.
Well, I guess then that goes with what your interpretation of deliberate
My
means,
interpretation would not be a deliberate call on that.
So then
He's going for the puck.
I know he's going for the puck.
Right, he's going for the puck.
But there's a big freaking red net in the way. You go around
yeah,
it.
He's trying to go around it, and his momentum took him just a little bit off it.
Okay, well, if no one touches you and you knock the net off, then I don't care if you're going for the puck. That should be considered a delay of game if you do it to your own net. That's why the rule's there. I mean, why else would it be there?
The rule says, quote-unquote, the big word is deliberate.
Right.
If they felt it was deliberate, they would have called it.
So what did they do instead? They just say, okay, well, since it was an accident, we don't mind.
Blow the whistle, stop the clock, put the net back on.
So then that's BS, though, then, because if that's what they're saying, that, it was an accident, I guess we shouldn't, do anything for the Bruins here because, here they come in on a 6-on-5. Really? You're going to do that?
Yeah, because you're whining about it.
I'm not whining about it. I'm
just
saying.
You say he should have had a penalty shot.
They should have.
No, he shouldn't
Yes,
have.
they freaking should have. He skated right into the net and no one touched him. So either he's an idiot and he can't get out of the way of a net.
He was reaching for the puck.
Which I don't think he is. I think he's the best player in this entire thing. Yeah, he reached for the puck. He didn't have to knock the net off.
I watched that play.
He should be penalized for that. There's no question.
I watched that play. I don't see deliberation.
Well, maybe not. Then you see a guy. Then if you don't see him doing that deliberately, then what you're saying is you see a guy who cannot avoid a giant red net.
I see a guy
that's right in front of him.
I see a guy whose eyes were on the puck.
Okay.
And trying to get that puck desperately because of the fact that it was 10 seconds left. He wanted to get the puck out of the zone.
Okay. And in
Trying to
doing
protect the
so,
lead.
he knocked the net off,
Right.
and in doing so, halted this 6-on-5 rush that the Bruins were on.
Right, but
So you should be allowed to do that then.
the word says, you're not listening to me.
I am listening to
No,
you.
you're not. The word says deliberate.
All right.
All right, that's what it says in the rule. You read me the rule.
I think it was deliberate.
Okay, you think it was deliberate? I don't. We disagree.
Fair
and
enough.
you know what? I was right because they didn't call it.
That doesn't mean you were right.
Yeah.
No,
Ole,
it doesn't.
ole, 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 ole.
All right, Tom. I hope the Rangers lose every single
They
game.
probably will.
Yeah.
Lundqvist will probably get up 4
Too bad
goals tonight.
Pittsburgh doesn't have some sort of goal song I could sing at you right now. I'm at a loss. All right, 603-883-9900, your phone number, 883-990. You're right, they didn't call it.
They
That's
didn't
all
call
that matters.
it,
And
you
even
know?
if they did call it, who's to say he definitely would have gotten the penalty shot and scored it? Carey Price was having a great game. You know, it might not have meant anything at all.
Oh, they would have scored it.
Maybe.
Nah, they would.
Maybe. I mean,
think they
Price was having a very good night.
But
And
you know
he wasn't
what?
letting anything in
But you know
straight
what?
on like that.
You know what? I'm going to play something else in here that's going to, basically be a dose of reality for you here.
Mhm.
All right? Do you really think an official is going to call a penalty shot in the last 10 seconds of a game in Montreal?
Probably not.
Exactly.
Unless they want a tear gas bomb thrown at them.
Exactly. There you go.
I'm
All
just
right?
saying.
No, I'm just throwing that out there.
That's fair.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm throwing that out there.
All right.
All right.
A lot of text messages. We'll read them next. 603-883-9900. Later on in the program, 105, Andrew Berkshire from Montreal Canadiens blog, Eyes on the Prize, one of the leading Habs blogs out there, will come on and probably gloat in my face a little bit. Although he does seem like a nice enough guy. They are Canadian. They're very polite, so we'll see what happens there.
Ole, 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 boots at
And
bats,
we
boots at
see,
bats,
I
boots at
swear to
bats,
God,
boots at
Tom.
bats.
I swear to you, you will go out that window, and the window will not be open. We'll also talk to Mike Loico today at 2:05 as we take a Bruins break and talk a little Patriots draft as
Physically
well.
threatened. Oh, my goodness.
Here it comes. Draft's tomorrow, Tom. I'm not going to throw you out the window.
Tell me about it. No,
That's like a whole thing.
I'm squirmy. You would have a hard time.
Yeah, you are square. Plus, I mean, with the glass and they're doing construction out there, it'd probably be like the murder trial. It would just.
You wouldn't want to go through all that. No.
But I just like you to know that I'm considering.
I'm
it.
sure.
Okay, 603-883-9900, your phone number, 883-9900. Text in 50352. It's Christian and King. Join us Saturday, May 10th at 8 a.m. for the Jonathan Gilmore Scholarship Fun Ride and Walk. The Ride and Walk starts at Hollis's historic Lawrence Barn and features many routes for cyclists and walkers of all skill levels. All proceeds will support Zoo New England's Jonathan Gilmore Memorial Scholarship Fund, and at the finish line we'll have a barbecue for cyclists, walkers, volunteers, family, and friends. Hope to see you there Saturday, May 10th at 8 a.m. The Jonathan Gilmore Scholarship Fun Ride and Walk. For more details, check out www.jonathangilmore.fund.org.
Hey folks, Tom Rowe here for the good people at Infinity of Nashua. Right now at Infinity of Nashua, they're home to one of the most unique automobiles on the planet. The 2014 Q50 all-wheel drive hybrid gets an astounding 30 miles per gallon with a powerful 360 horsepower engine that gives you the performance you demand from a luxury vehicle. The 2014 Q50 all-wheel drive hybrid is priced, get this, below $50,000. Other comparable luxury vehicles can cost you twice as much. All Infinity vehicles are backed by a 4-year, 60,000-mile warranty and a powertrain warranty for 6 years at 70,000 miles. At Infinity of Nashua, they know your time is valuable, and when it comes time to service your vehicle, Infinity of Nashua has a fleet of loaner cars for you to use, so you're not waiting around for your car to be serviced. And the service department hand washes and vacuums your vehicle after every visit. Infinity of Nashua is located on 105 DW Highway in Nashua, and can also be found online at infinityofnashua.com. Once more, Infinity of Nashua is located on 105 DW Highway in Nashua, and can also be found online at infinityofnashua.com.
Joining us now is our Apple Therapy Student Athlete of the Month from Bishop Girton High School. It's Molly McCabe, two-sports star for the Cardinals. Welcome to the show, and Molly, congratulations on being named Student Athlete of the Month.
Thank you.
You are now eligible for a $2,500 scholarship courtesy of Apple Therapy. Our Student Athlete of the Year winner, one boy and one girl, will get the scholarship. That'll be given out on May the 22nd. So I want to know a little bit about your background. Two sports over there at BG, indoor and outdoor outdoor track. Well, first of all, what's the difference, the biggest difference in your mind between indoor and outdoor track?
Basically, the only difference is the events are different. It jumps up a little more in outdoor, so instead of like a 600, there's an 800. So on. Really the only main difference, and the weather, obviously.
You are an 800-meter Dartmouth Relays champion. I suppose that's your event of choice, right?
Yes, for outdoor.
All state, all 4 years at BG, 2011, 2012, 2013, and this year as well. You hold New Hampshire state records for the 600-meter, the 4x400, and the 4x800. Have you always been good at running?
I guess so. I started doing cross country in second grade because my brother and sister ran as well, so I've always kind of really enjoyed it and been pretty good at it.
You qualified for nationals as well. That's exciting.
Yeah, it was all right. I didn't really run how I wanted to, but I mean, I was still really happy to go. It was a great experience, and I know that my teammates and I had a lot of fun.
Molly McCabe of BG on the phone with us. She is our female student athlete of the month. Let's look at the classroom. 3.6 GPA. You're a member of the National Honor Society as well. What kind of subjects do you like?
I guess my favorite subject would have to be either history or lit. I'm not really a math type person, so math and science aren't really my fortes.
Is that kind of the field or one of the fields that maybe you would like to explore moving forward?
I think I'm going to end up studying business. I got into the business school at BC, so I'm hoping to stay there. Hopefully I like it.
What did you like about Boston College in general?
I think what came down to me mostly was academics between all the schools I was looking at, and the location is perfect. It's right outside the city, and the campus is beautiful. I fell in love with it the second I stepped on.
Well, congratulations again, Molly. You're our female student athlete of the month, and you are now one of the finalists and nominees for Apple Therapy's Student Athlete of the Year, which will be named on May the 22nd at the Crown Plaza in Nashua. I hope to see you there, Molly. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
With 6 New Hampshire locations, Apple Therapy's comprehensive orthopedic rehabilitation clinics offer convenient access to a wide variety of services. At each clinic, Apple Therapy strives to bring relief to patients by assuring the highest level of care in a comfortable environment, and they are networked to most providers and all insurance companies. Apple Therapy will maintain full and open communications between you and your physicians and therapists. For your peace of mind, you can find Apple Therapy in Amherst, Bedford, Manchester, Nashua, and online at appletherapy.com.
Wendy's presents The Fish Doctor.
Excuse me, but is your fish cod of the genus Gators?
Yeah, it's a premium cod sandwich from Wendy's. What, are you a fish expert?
Yes, ichthyologist, actually, but I've never seen cod so golden, so crispy.
Oh, that's the panko breading.
Naturally, it mixes best with tangy tartar sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I'll need a sample. For science?
I suggest you sail on over to Wendy's.
Wendy's Premium Cod Sandwich. Flaky North Pacific cod in a crispy panko breading.
Now that's better.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time.
When major sports news breaks or when covering play-by-play, ESPN New Hampshire is the #1 place to turn, according to the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters. This is ESPN New Hampshire. ESPN New Hampshire Sports Center.
The longest active winning streak in the country continues. The Bedford Bulldogs dominated Oyster River last night, 21-2 on the road in high school lacrosse. They have now won 49 straight games and will go for number 50 tonight against Londonderry. After trailing through the first 5 innings, the New Hampshire Fisher Cats were able to take command of the game late in their second straight win against Binghamton. They'll attempt to go for the sweep tonight in downtown Manchester. For the third straight game, the Bruins trail going into the third period against the Montreal Canadiens, and for the second time in this series, they were unable to finish the comeback. They trail now in the series 2-1, and will look for a much-needed win in Game 4 tomorrow night at the Bell Center. Thanks to a walk-off hit from Grady Sizemore, the Red Sox are now 1 game away from being back on 500 on the year after beating the Cincinnati Reds in extra innings. John Farrell spoke about the chances the defending champs capitalized on.
Once again, we continue to create the opportunities that we speak of, and fortunately, the back end of that bullpen gave us opportunities to continue to come to the plate. And Miller, Brez, and Koji, Burke, they did an outstanding job keeping them at bay.
The series resumes tonight. You can hear the call of the game right here, starting a Red Sox pregame at 6:25 on ESPN New Hampshire. Stay tuned for more as Tom King looks to irritate Christian Arcand. I'm Tom Rowe. The Sports Center update is brought to you by Bud Light, a proud sponsor of those Boston Red Sox. It's Bud Light, the sure sign of a good time.
New Hampshire sports fans know they can set it and forget it. This is the home of the New Hampshire sports fan. This is ESPN New Hampshire. Christian and King.
Exactly. You get 3 goals behind. It's tough. You battle back, but time's running out. We just have to try to get that lead and play with the lead for once. Disappointing, but not a bad effort overall.
603-883-9900 is your phone number. 883-9900. Text in 50352. Texters getting on me here saying I'm whining.
You are.
Tom, slap Christian across the face to calm him down, please. Christian, why are you so upset? Don't you always say cheating is okay? I agree with Tom. You're being a baby. Tom, don't forget to change the baby's diaper during the break. And Subban followed the CRKN rules for good sportsmanship, a.k.a. cheat to win. First of all, texters.
Oh, they are.
Get it together.
See, they are getting right on you.
Here's the thing.
Right, I love it.
These texters
they
don't understand what cheating is. They think that diving is cheating or that embellishing is cheating. That is not cheating. You idiots. I know that's like part of your...
It's breaking the rules.
It is not breaking the rules.
Yeah, it is because you get called for it in the NHL.
And it's cheating? No, that's a penalty. There's a difference between cheating and a penalty.
It's not cheating. It's breaking the rule.
Right.
When you break the rule in the NHL,
is that
you
cheating?
get a penalty.
Is that the same as cheating?
No.
No. Of course not. Breaking a rule is what they have penalties for.
Right.
If every single time somebody gets a penalty that's considered cheating to you, then you should never watch hockey. Because first of all, you're an idiot. And second of all, they do that all the time. People do penalties. I mean, that's how it works. And if you embellish and they call it, it's a penalty. If they embellish and they don't call it, it's not a penalty. So that is not what cheating is. If you had the clue, then this would be a little easier. But it's not really. And if you want to say I'm whining about the refs, fine. I didn't think I was.
You're not whining about the refs.
I think I'm whining about that one play.
Whining about one play
right.
that basically it seems like you're the only one really whining about it.
And Eric Wilbur is, and he wrote a big column about it. So, he is too.
Yeah, but Eric Wilbur also has to look at his words. He said deliberately. You got to make that judgment.
And then he wrote it was deliberate.
How does he know that?
Because he said it was.
That's what he said.
And that's what I think.
Exactly.
And you don't think so?
No, I don't think it was.
And I also think that,
you know what else I think? I don't think the refs saw him do it. I think the refs noticed that it was off, and then that's when they blew the whistle.
That's fine.
I think the cameras caught it.
I think that if a player knocks the goal off its post in his own zone without anybody pushing him, that should be considered a deliberate knocking off of the post. I think that's the way that should be.
I'm watching that play. I don't see deliberation there.
But I'm saying if that's what I think the definition of deliberate should
be.
But
see, you're writing your own rule. That's not the rule. The rule says deliberate.
Right.
All right. That's a judgment on the referee.
Okay.
That leaves open. It's the referee's judgment. That's what it says.
Fine.
All right.
And I think the referees should have judged it differently.
Yeah, no, you do. Because the Bruins lost the game.
Right.
Ole.
But they probably would have lost the game anyway, Tom.
I don't know.
I honestly think they probably would have.
I don't know.
They were already in a deep hole, and they were desperate and trying to claw their way back in.
Here's what I see.
And that's the problem here, not the referees.
Here's what I see in the NHL playoffs, though, in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Do you notice that coaches are pulling the goaltender with a lot of time left?
Yeah.
They are really, if they're down by more.
Bruins got the second goal with about 2 minutes left, and they had
the
pulled.
Flyers did the same thing and scored around the same exact time against the Rangers.
Yeah, you're right.
And then did not get that third goal,
right?
That tying goal. So it's when teams are down 2, they are yanking. They are telling the goalie, "You are useless. Get off the ice."
Basically, yeah.
And they are pulling the goalie, and it's amazing. It's amazing to me how on power plays, right? On power plays, the other team can possess the puck.
Yeah.
For a while, for a little bit, But when it's 6-on-5 in the last minute of a game, they hardly ever get the puck.
Yeah, you're right.
What's going on there? What is the deal? Stop backing off. Go at it. I'm getting all jumped up about it.
You are. You are indeed. Tom, there's a real serious possibility that the Bruins could be down 3-0 here facing a sweep on Thursday.
Yeah, but it's not the case.
It's not the case.
It's not the case because they had.
But that's about as well as they've played. They played it well enough to get swept.
Yeah, but they're not getting swept. It's a hot.
Tom, I didn't say they were getting swept. I said they've played well enough to get swept.
Right. Yeah, well,
don't disagree with the point I didn't make. I said they played well enough to get swept.
And the Canadians could have been down 2-0 going to Montreal.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And the Bruins probably felt they should have been up 2-0.
It's about the candy and nuts.
It's been a strange series so far.
Yeah, it's been a strange series. It's a 2-1 series, Montreal leading. I think the Bruins will come back and win game 4.
Right, but that's like Parcells said. Whatever it is, that's where you are.
Right, and
right now the Bruins are fighting it.
Bruins are down 2-1 because they've given up early goals in the games and they've played with fire. That's why they're down.
That's
2-1.
true. They've given up early goals. They have hit a ton of posts. Carey Price has played well, and They've also just fallen asleep on defense several times. I mean, that's happened more than once, and more than just yesterday. That happened in games 1 and 2. It's beginning to be the Bruins defensemen are playing well on offense for the most part. I'd say almost every single one of them are contributing offensively.
Bruins will beat Montreal.
Their defense has not been good.
They will beat Montreal 3-1 on Thursday night.
3-1?
3-1 is what I say.
Okay.
Yep. They will
Is
score.
there a chance in hell that we see Tuukka get pulled at any point? At any
No.
point this season? This postseason, series, yeah.
Yeah, Montreal scores 5 goals in a game.
That'd have to be the only reason,
That'd be
right?
the only reason. Yeah, I don't see. It was,
Say they get off to another 2-goal lead in the first period again, and now that's 4 games in a row that they're up 2-0 after 1. No, I don't.
No.
See, I don't think so either. I really don't. Just because, it's not like he's been giving up soft goals all over the place. He hasn't been.
Julian is very reluctant to pull goaltenders.
Yeah.
He does not do that very
Unless
often
it's just
at
an
all.
absolute
Now, if
disaster.
Tortorella were coaching him, oh, yeah, pull him here, pull him
Sure.
there. Yeah, I'm pulling everybody around.
Put him back in.
Yeah, put him on.
Give me a mask. I'll go in there and play. I'll go play goal.
If Mike Keenan's doing it, he's doing blah, blah. But Julian, no.
Right. Here's the thing, is that the Bruins have missed a lot of chances by hitting the post or, just missing empty nets and a lot of things like that. And you say, well, eventually they're going to get it together. But you don't know that. You know that eventually they probably will get it together. But sometimes you have your chances, and if you don't capitalize on them, you don't get them again. That happens a lot in the playoffs. You see a team go out there and they have 5 or 6 real good scoring opportunities. They don't connect on any of them, and all of a sudden they're knocked out of the playoffs.
Yeah,
and that's it.
That's the Rangers. The Rangers had all those opportunities against Pittsburgh the other night.
Right.
And they couldn't cash in. They're scoreless for 120 minutes of hockey.
Right.
That's what happens.
Now, here's the other thing.
You got to bury your chances.
The Canadians, aside from 2 or 3 guys, are kind of skating in quicksand just like the Bruins are.
Yeah, exactly. Same.
So, I mean, really what we're talking about here is a team that's up 2-1 that's been outplayed, I'd say, in at least one of the 3 games, one of the ones that they won, but haven't had contributions from a lot of guys that they've relied on all season long. Max Pacioretty, once again, a ghost out there. Just cannot get himself off the milk carton. I mean, he was out there missing rebounds, missing everything, whiffing on shots, whiffing on passes. I mean, he is an absolute train wreck out there. Vanek, again, he had one nice play, but other than that, couldn't really attack much, couldn't clear out of his own zone when the Bruins were attacking. He wasn't doing much. Emlyn, I mean, none of these guys, really, aside from Subban and Plekanec. Plekanec's had a good series.
Well, Subban's the difference.
Aside from those 2 guys, Montreal has not really outplayed Boston in any other way, except for maybe Carey Price over Tuukka. So there's a couple of guys.
Yeah.
And here we are. So it's okay, we got a text coming in here. One of the texters whom I called stupid is now on the phone.
Uh-oh.
We'll get to him in a second.
Oh, you're in trouble.
I'm not. You think I'm afraid of a texter calling in right now? Really? You think so?
You going to put him on or what?
I'll put him on.
Let's go.
603-883-9900, your phone number. Jim is in Manchester. Hi, Jim.
How you doing, Christian?
Good.
Tom, can I just echo your sentiment? And Christian, what dictionary do you use that cheating is not breaking the rules? Because in the dictionary I just looked up, that's the second definition, to violate the rules.
So or
to deceive by fraud. If you're flopping, you're deceiving the official into thinking something happened that didn't. So by the purest definition, flopping is cheating.
Okay. So every penalty that's ever been called on any player is technically cheating in your mind?
Is technically, if the person violates the rules of a game, they're cheating.
So every time there's been tripping, every time there's charging, roughing, goalie interference, all of the offsides, all of that's cheating to you?
All by definition, it is absolutely cheating.
Then why do you watch hockey if it's just a bunch of cheaters everywhere? Why would you want to watch a sport where every single player is a cheater?
Why do you promote cheating every time you talk about something?
I'm not promoting cheating. I'm talking about...
You have been quoted as saying the ends justify the means.
What ends justify what means?
In previous shows, when someone has cheated and gotten away with it, you say, well, if they don't get caught, it's not cheating. Hey, they won the game. They did the right thing. The Montreal Canadiens, in your mind, you should be patting them on the back and standing up and applauding them because they're doing everything they can to get an advantage over the Bruins by convincing the refs the Bruins are doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
Well, first of all, that hasn't really happened in this series at all, which has made me happy, to be honest with you, Jim. I mean, I think that this series, there's not been any of that so far, which is great. But to your point,
it didn't stop you yesterday from crying about the potential that it was going to happen.
Right.
So
well,
again, let me echo Tom and go.
Actually,
I'm not the only one who was concerned about that. First of all.
Everybody was looking at that
here.
because of the referees.
That's all anyone was talking about with the two refs and who they were and all the penalties that they call and where the game was and all the rest of that, Jim. I mean, I see what you're saying, but
can you define everybody and at least localize it to the Boston crybaby media? And I know you're going to go off on the Montreal. Listen. Take care of the splinter or the splinter in your own in someone else's eye after you pull the log out of your own.
There's a log in
my eye. You guys are a bunch of homers, and then you get on Montreal for being a bunch of homers.
I guess. I don't know. I don't feel like we're big time homers here.
To me,
Tom doesn't even like the Bruins.
Calling someone a crybaby and a homer and reaming Montreal when you're not doing exactly the same thing. Today you open the show with the refs didn't call enough penalties. They should have blown a whistle on Subban. Wait a minute. You either want the refs blowing the whistle and calling it, or you don't want them calling anything.
Well, no.
And draw a line and stand with it.
They called 2 penalties the whole game, and I think that they should have called one on the end at Subban, and they missed it. What do you want from me? That's what I think. You want me to lie and say, well, I prefer this, that, whatever? No, that's how I felt about it.
I think you should be applauding Subban and go, the guy's a freaking genius. He's not only a great player, but he's cheating and getting away with it.
That's right, he is. But you know what?
That would be consistent with the things you've said in the past.
I don't consider that cheating.
Yeah.
I don't consider what Subban did to be cheating.
Yeah, you know,
I consider it to be
I guess we just have to agree to disagree. I'll follow the English language in the Webster's Dictionary, and you follow the Christian arcand, make up words and make up meanings.
I think the theoretical.
That is a good dictionary, by the way.
I think
you can order that on Amazon right now. The Christian arcand make up words dictionary and thesaurus too.
The letter of the law. The letter of the law, cheating maybe, but I mean, I think the meaning of the word doesn't really.
It's just because hockey sanctions it by saying we're going to allow you to cheat. And we'll give you a penalty for it.
They give you a penalty for fighting. Do you think when guys fight, that's cheating?
No.
Well, that's a penalty, isn't it?
It must be if it's against the rules to fight.
Okay, but they're both doing it, so they're both cheating?
So they're both cheating.
Okay, well, that's stupid. I mean, come on, Jim. Let's be real. Let's be honest here. But please, can you call back more often? That was a great call.
Have a good one.
All right, see you later. That's Jim in Manchester. Good call. I mean, that was he's got a point. And listen, I don't agree with him as far as what's cheating and what isn't. I feel like if you're going to call every single penalty cheating, I mean, then why watch the game if everybody's constantly cheating? Why? How is that enjoyable? I just don't see it.
I love watching people cheat.
You do?
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Is that why you watch Basketball Wives?
Oh, yeah, because they cheat all the time.
Very good. All right, 603-883-9900, your phone number, 883-9900. Text in 50352. Christian and King, we'll have some notes from the kingdom for you when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Performance Rehab is physical therapy and much more. They're dedicated to providing quality rehab services to ensure the best results for all their patients. With 2 convenient locations in Nashua, Jerry and Michelle Holland and their knowledgeable staff are always there for you. Take advantage of Performance Rehab's top-notch physical therapy programs, where the highest priority is getting you back to full strength. Performance Rehab, assisting the Nashua school systems for over 20 years. Call Performance Rehab at 881-9990 or performancerehab.com.
ESPN New Hampshire and Apple Therapy have teamed up to search for the Apple Therapy Student Athlete of the Year. One lucky senior boy and one senior girl will be awarded a $2,500 scholarship at the end of the school year. To find out how your son or daughter can be nominated, log on to espnnewhampshire.com and be listening for the Apple Therapy Student Athlete of the Week right here on ESPN New Hampshire.
Who are you?
Leave it green.
Tuesdays on Audience.
You are a developmentally arrested, infantile, dysfunctional narcissist.
You skip so many of the finer details.
Rake is back.
You are a still life study of self-indulgent behaviour.
Oh, stop it.
With an all-new season.
It's people like you who give addiction a bad name.
Oh, it's who like me who what?
Rake. All new episodes Tuesdays at 8 on Audience. Channel 239. Only on DirecTV.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Colin Cowherd.
We all know the NFL is the league of change. They move everything. They don't even care if you have a franchise. They'll move a game to London. They'll move games to Toronto. They've never cared about that. They've got flex scheduling. They've changed rules mid-season. They'll play a Super Bowl in potentially a blizzard. It is the league of change. I got news for you, New York. You're losing the draft. There's a story out that the NFL right now is not renegotiated with New York City, and the draft, you need a room with a stage and 32 phone lines. You can hold that in Nashville, San Diego, Chicago, Phoenix, Minneapolis, and now that they've moved it back to May, weather's not an issue. It's no longer in April where you can get snowed in. It's in May. They're moving that thing.
Hi, you've reached Zach Robinson. I can't get to the phone, but good news. Our Sprint Family Plan has an open spot, and Mom said I get to invite the newest member. You don't have to move in with us if you join, and you can get separate bills. So if you want to save a bunch of money, just answer these questions. How do you talk to girls? Do you go Dutch on a first date? Actually, these don't really matter because just about anyone can join a Sprint Family Plan. But could you do me a solid?
Starting a Sprint family plan is easy, and the more people your family adds, the more you save. For a limited time, get the revolutionary new Samsung Galaxy S5 for $0 down and a free Tab 3 when you join a family plan. With better call quality, fewer drop calls, and faster speeds on America's newest network, there's never been a better time to switch. Happy connecting from Sprint.
Offer ends 7/10/14. Maximum plan savings of $30 per line while supplies last. Taxes and surcharges excluded. $0 down plus $27.09 a month for 24 months for well-qualified buyers. Total price $649.99 with 0% APR. If you cancel service, remaining balance on phone becomes due. Tab requires 2-year agreement and data plan. Restrictions apply. See store or sprint.com.
This is ESPN New Hampshire, honored by the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters as the best station for breaking sports news and best station for live play-by-play in 2013. This is ESPN New Hampshire. ESPN New Hampshire Sports Center.
It was a poor effort from the start and ended up costing the Bruins in Game 3 last night, now trailing in the series 2-1. Johnny Boychuk says that the focus now has got to be on not playing from behind so much.
You don't want to be down every third period. I mean, you want to be going into the third period with the lead. And we're doing a good job by coming back, but we can't be shooting ourselves in the foot right off the hop.
I think that's obvious, Mr. Boychuk. Game 4 is tomorrow night at the Bell Center. Now winners of 2 in a row, the Fisher Cats will go for the sweep of Binghamton tonight in downtown Manchester. It would be the second series sweep of the season for the Fisher Cats. It took 12 innings to get it done, but the Red Sox improved to 16-17 on the year with a win over the Cincinnati Reds last night. Game 2, Jake Peavy will take to the hill. You can hear the call of the game right here, starting with Red Sox pregame at 6:25 on ESPN New Hampshire. And the NFL Draft's first round kicks off tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The Patriots hold the 29th overall pick, and according to ESPN Boston, they are projected to take either Iowa tight end C.J. Fedorowicz or Notre Dame defensive lineman Stephen Toot, who is the second-rated defensive lineman behind projected number 1 overall pick, Jadeveon Clowney. I'm Tom Rowe. The Sports Center Update is brought to you by Capital Auto Auction in Manchester. Buy cars like the dealers do every Saturday beginning at 11 a.m. Find out more at CapitalAutoAuction.com.
Local sports talk for the New Hampshire sports fan. This is ESPN New Hampshire. Christian and King.
All right, it's ESPN New Hampshire. It's Christian and King. 603-883-9900 is your phone number. A text line 50352. Text line up and running. Active phone lines today as well. Keep them coming. Love to hear that sort of thing here. After a tough loss from the Bruins in Montreal, Game 4 will be tomorrow night, 7:30. But we're going to take a break from that right now. And before we talk with Andrew Berkshire of Eyes on the Prize, Montreal Canadiens blog, we're going to get you some notes from the Kingdom right now.
Message for you, son. King in the castle, king in the castle.
Notes from the Kingdom.
Just when I have to talk.
Whoa.
Oh,
Whoa.
no.
How we doing there?
That's what I know.
Excuse me.
Oh, my God. Kyle Brigham. I talked about him before, and I'm talking about him now.
Kyle freaking Brigham.
He's from Hudson, New Hampshire.
Yeah. And is he going through a bout of emphysema right now as well?
Well, he was back in the fall.
Yeah.
Or in the midsummer.
He had emphysema this summer?
Yeah, well, he might have because he had his shoulder operated on. That gives you emphysema sometimes.
I don't think that's how that works, but okay, anyway, yeah.
He had all those tubes in you and everything else.
Sure, yeah.
I'm telling you. Oh, God. Oh. He had shoulder surgery back in the summer after a year where with a bum shoulder, he won the New England Collegiate Conference Player of the Year. He's a Daniel Webster Jr., Daniel Webster College Jr., third baseman. This year.
Yeah.
All right, he's coming back from shoulder surgery. Has to have a slow start. You know, they try to wean him in slowly at the start of the season. He goes right out there, knocks the cover of the ball off the ball, and wins the Player of the Year award again. Two-time NECC Player of the Year.
How about that?
He hit over 400. He drove in over 20 runs. He hit a homer or two. He's the first time that the school has ever had back-to-back, a Player of the Year in the sport, and just an outstanding baseball player, great kid. He really should be looked at. John Roper, who's the pitching coach for Daniel Webster, the former National Pride Major League pitcher,
right,
really thinks that somebody ought to look at this kid, and maybe he's right. My counter to that is, well, yes, but at the NECC, it's not exactly a premier conference.
Right.
And it's Division III, and it's a little bit of mid to lower level of Division III. There's lower levels of D3.
Sure.
But I mean,
Still,
maybe the
doing
pitching,
that well after your shoulder surgery is worth a look.
Yeah, maybe the pitching isn't quite the quality that he would see if he was playing professionally.
Right.
But you're right. He is worth a look. Somebody really ought to look at him. He's excellent defensively as well. And, they feel that the Daniel Webster got off to a slow start this year because he wasn't playing third base. He was only the DH, and they felt that defensively he might have been a difference for them in a few games. So congratulations to Kyle Brigham for winning back-to-back Player of the Year awards.
Yeah,
but that's a news
pretty
item.
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's my own personal feeling. I'll interject there, but I mean,
you're allowed to do that on your radio show, Tom. You're allowed to interject your own personal thoughts.
That's amazing, to me that he won. I asked him,
Yeah.
do you think you got a shot at this award again? He goes, I don't know. There are a lot of good players in this conference. And I got the same response from a couple other people.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Boom. No, they looked at it and they said, no, this kid is the real deal. Two-time Player of the Year. Somebody take a look at Kyle Brigham.
Very good. All right, here's your scores from yesterday in boys baseball. Littleton an 8-7 win over Colebrook. St. Thomas Aquinas all over Kennett. 18-2 your final in that one. Linwood beat Moultonborough 9-5. And Muscoma Valley knocked off Newfound 10-9 in girls softball. Littleton a 12-3 win over Colebrook. Alverin beat Bishop Girton 12-11. Berlin beat Fall Mountain 12-8. Monadnock a 10-7 win over Messinic. Kennett beat St. Thomas Aquinas 15-5. Portsmouth Christian at Dover 4-3 winners over Moultonborough. Newfound crushed Muscoma Valley 15-8. Salem a 5-3 win over Dover, and Groveton beat Profile School by a final of 9-8 over in La Crosse. It was Derryfield all over Monadnock 23-3. John Stark beat Milford 13-5. Kingswood a 16-7 win over Pembroke. Laconia beat Kennett 13-2. Bishop Brady a 6-5 win over Guilford. Goffstown a big win over Spalding 21-4 your final there. Another big win.
Finally, you got a close game in there, a 6-5
I know.
game. Jeez.
Not a lot of close ones, and this one wasn't close either. Bedford extends their winning streak, and Oyster River, I think, losing streak continues. 21-2 your score in that one. Wyndham with a 16-3 win over West Trinity. Blank Stevens 20-0, and St. Thomas Aquinas a 13-8 win over Winnicunnet. Over on the girls' side, Kearsarge 15-6 win over Conval. Laconia beat Kingswood 9-6. North knocked off South 16-3. Bishop Brady a 13-9 win over Pelham. Exeter beat Salem 16-6. Sauhegan an 18-8 win over Concord.
Look at those games.
Blowouts.
10. I know, all of them.
Yeah.
You know what happens in lacrosse is a team goes out there, they control the ball for a while, they score early, they get a 4-5, 6-0 lead, and the game's over.
Yeah.
The team can't come back.
Yeah.
That's the way it's been working in lacrosse in the games that I've seen. Anyway.
That's pretty much where we're at right now.
Sure.
Well, you know what we haven't done in a while, okay? We haven't looked at the standings.
Well, they've only had 3 weeks of play.
They've only played for 3 weeks.
Right.
That's true.
So there's only, but they're approaching the halfway point because we got we've got only another month left to go in the regular season.
I'll tell you what.
The
spring has not been kind to Manchester or Nashua at all.
Manchester has never had baseball-wise.
I mean, they're not doing anything.
Baseball-wise, they've been strong in the past.
Yeah.
Lacrosse and girls softball, stuff like that, no, nothing. Nothing. Tennis, no, nothing.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Spring is not Manchester's time.
I don't know what's going on here. But, I mean, they're down at the bottom in every single one. And Nashua was not really that much better. I mean, South is 1-8
Tough
in baseball.
year. Those two teams play tonight.
North is 3-7.
Those two teams play tonight at Holman Stadium at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
A nice night for it, hopefully. It looks that way.
Yeah. Even Bedford's 3-5 in baseball.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know.
BG's 5-3, Alverin, I don't know. I mean, I don't really count. They're kind of their own thing, Like, Bedford's its own thing now.
You gotta wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
You gotta wait. There's a lot of baseball left.
A lot of baseball left. A lot of baseball games tonight. If you're interested in checking out a game tonight, then go to your local school website and find out what time the game's at. A lot of games going on. Can't read them all to you right now. You can also check out NHIAA.org for all of your scheduled games and locations. All right, 603-883-9900, your phone number. When we return, we will be joined by Andrew Berkshire, who is a writer and editor for Eyes on the Prize, which is a Montreal Canadiens blog, the most popular one up there. And he'll join us next. Don't go anywhere. It's Christian and King. 1 hour down, 2 to go.